What's up, dude? Welcome back to 50 States, 50 Plates, where I'm cooking up a famous recipe from every single state in America. Today, we're leaving Oklahoma behind and heading into the great state of Arkansas. With all of its beautiful wild pigs, hillbillies, and Walmart locations, it is not a state you want to miss. In all seriousness, Arkansas isn't just about severe weather patterns, cheese dip championships, and chicken production. It's also known for its happening music and art scene in cities like Little Rock, as well as its variety of natural beauty with breathtaking mountains, forests, rivers, and an abundance of hot springs. And today I thought, why not focus on some home cooking with a good old-fashioned catfish fry? And we're gonna do this right by cooking up some amazing sides and dips to make this a meal to remember. And as always, my friends, there is no time to waste. Now let's go! As the old saying goes, always begin with the beans. That's not a saying, I just made that up actually. But it sounds like it could be a thing. And the reason you want to start with the beans is simply because it takes the longest. Today I'm just using some red kidney beans. These have been soaking overnight in water to drastically reduce the cooking time. Starting here with a medium heat pot, I'm just adding a little bit of avocado oil. Nice neutral oil, good for your body. It's good for your body, guys. That's why I like it. It's expensive, so there's that. Adding in a diced onion, as well as a bunch of bacon. I like a little bacon in my beans, my friends. After about 10 minutes, everything has a light little bit of color to it. At this point, I'm adding in some jalapenos and some garlic. Another 2 minutes, I'm adding some cumin, just ground, as well as a little hint of smoked paprika. Ooh, just about 10 seconds on the spices. You don't want them to burn. We'll add in our beans and fresh water, not the water that the beans soaked in. And I'm gonna cover the beans by about 3 inches. A couple more things here. I'm adding a little bit of chicken bouillon. That's just gonna add some beautiful flavor here. I am not against it. I know some people are, not I. Salt. Although I'll put a little bit now and more later if it needs it. And a little bit of Sergeant Gilbert reporting for duty. That's just fresh ground black pepper. Bring this to a light simmer and let it cook for exactly 1 hour and 20 minutes, which is how long it took for my specific beans to become like a beautiful, soft, little creamy, pillowy cloud on the inside. We don't want an al dente bean. This isn't pasta, okay? It should be done. Having said that, all beans are different. Yours could take 2 hours, so you just gotta taste them. There's no one-size-fits-all approach for beans. So I've heard cooking beans with the lid off will leave them firmer and more intact, so better for something like a cold bean salad. On the flip side, beans cooked with the lid on will end up a little bit more creamier and broken down. Also, I've heard lid off makes for a tastier bean. Let me know your experience with beans in the comments. In a world where people don't eat beans, I'll go as far as to say I love them. I love beans. The next component of this Arkansas meal is gonna be some cast iron cornbread. It's fluffy and delicious and full of flavor. Serve it with some honey, some butter, and some sea salt, and it's happy days, my friends. Here's how you make it. We'll start by mixing our dry ingredients, all-purpose flour, cornmeal, and for a nice little trick, you can sub out some of the cornmeal for polenta to give it a little bit more texture. You don't have to, but that is a nice trick. Baking powder and baking soda, salt, and I'm using castor sugar here, but you can absolutely just use granulated. Give it a whisk and it's done. Before mixing any of your ingredients, the first thing you want to do is to put a cast iron pan in a 400-degree oven for 10 to 15 minutes. To mix the wet ingredients, just combine buttermilk, avocado oil, melted unsalted butter, and 2 eggs. Whisk to combine, mix the dry ingredients into the wet, just mix to combine just like that. Don't overwork it. Step away from the bowl, drop the towel. Hot cast iron down, make sure you don't put it directly on your board. More butter in, woo! Plenty of heat from the pan to melt all the butter and get your cornbread mix straight in. I don't know about you watching at home, but I love cornbread. Always been a sucker for it. And straight back in your 400-degree oven for 17 minutes. And that cooks really fast because you preheat the pan. I always like to just insert a little thermometer, make sure it comes out clean, but that is absolutely done. Now, unfortunately, you're gonna wanna let it cool down a little bit before you get in there, but oof. That's exciting. And what's really awesome about doing the cornbread in a cast iron pan is this. Woo! Well, I know it's not dinner time yet. Having said that, I want to have a cheeky little taste. Looks like it has some nice, beautiful structure to me. I like seeing all those little polenta bits in there. I'm just gonna do a little bit of butter, of course, touch of honey, and a little bit of flaky salt. Oh man, yum. Great flavor and super moist. Now that our sides are complete, it's time to move on to the star of this meal, the fried catfish and pickles. But first, we need to make a couple of dipping sauces. Some incredible homemade ranch that I've been perfecting for years now, as well as a really solid tartar sauce recipe for the fish. For the tartar sauce, I'm starting with mayonnaise, chopped dill pickle, chopped shallot or onion, chopped capers, dill, Worcestershire sauce, lemon juice, a little bit of salt, Sergeant Gilbert reporting for duty. That's fresh ground black pepper, and just a little bit of mustard. You can use whatever kind of mustard you happen to love. I'm using this French Savoura mustard. It's like yellow mustard, but just way, way better. And that's it, my friends. Just give it a real good mix. I don't know about you, but I freaking love tartar sauce. It's just one of the best mayonnaise-based sauces out there. Always taste your sauces, people. Oh. Yes, by all means, if you want to just buy a ranch packet and mix it with buttermilk and mayo, do it. However, I swear by this stuff. It's really good. Mayonnaise, full fat buttermilk, sour cream, that's your base, onion powder, garlic powder, salt, little MSG if you're against it, don't use it, all good. Touch of sugar, not much. White vinegar, chopped dill, chives, and parsley. Again, just give it a good mix. Nothing like homemade ranch. And I'll tell you what, you'll be happy to have this in the fridge. Make a salad with it, dip stuff in it, whatever. Just throw a lid on it and leave it in the fridge to thicken up. For the fried pickles, I'm starting with all-purpose flour, a little bit of cornstarch, salt, onion powder, garlic powder. This is America. We like garlic and onion powder. Smoked paprika, black pepper, and my secret ingredient, a little bit of turmeric. And that has nothing to do with the taste. It has everything to do with the color. It gives it this beautiful golden shine for fried foods. I'll give that a good mix. And then what I'll do is take out a 1/3 cup of this into another vessel, just like so. And now what I'm doing is just streaming in ice cold water. I just measured out my water. I stuck it in the freezer for like 15 minutes and it's very cold. And that little bit of cornstarch in here is really gonna help to keep these pickles crunchy. Yeah, there we go, my friends, batter done. You can use whatever kind of pickles you want. Now I'm using dill pickles. Bread and butter has its place, but I'm almost always going for dill pickles. First into the flour dredge here, then into the batter, and then what I would do is dip one up, just drag it slightly along the side like that, and finally into panko breadcrumbs. You could skip this step and they would still be okay, but they won't be nearly as crunchy. And if I'm frying pickles, I really want that crunch. And finally, I'm frying these in peanut oil at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Just about 3 minutes and those are done. Whew. Drain on some paper towel. These look nice, not gonna lie. Into some ranch dressing. I'm happy now. I want to have another one, but I just got my blood work done. My cholesterol is 244. To finish this meal off, I just got a 1-pound side of catfish. I'm gonna split it right down the middle. I want to fry it off in chunks. Get rid of these little tail pieces. And these ones I'll just cut in half. We get about 6 pieces out of that pound. There we go. And what I'm gonna do first is just hit this fish with a little bit of sea salt. Came from fresh water. It needs that good sea salt. I mean, this is just my opinion, but saltwater fish, a little bit better than freshwater fish, if you ask me. Do that on both sides. And I'll first just let this sit for about 10 minutes. Then just simply place it into a little container, and I'm gonna cover it in buttermilk, and we're gonna let that sit for another 15 minutes. And finally, we just need to build the dredge for the catfish, starting with cornmeal, a little bit of all-purpose flour. I'm just using a standard seafood seasoning. This is Old Bay. Just give it a good whisk to combine, and it's done. And finally, take your fish out of the buttermilk and dredge it up nicely. One wet hand, one dry hand, and it's ready for the fryer. And fry it off in the same oil, same temperature, 350 Fahrenheit. Although you don't wanna do this all at once, I'll do a 1/2 pound at a time. After 3 minutes, I'll pull out this little tail piece, because it's definitely done. On some towel. 5.5 minutes for the other 2 pieces, and they're done. All right, Arkansas, here we go. And if you're watching from that state, let us know how we did. You know, personally, I've never been there. I don't have any family from there, so I would love to hear if this is kind of typical. A little bit of lemon on the fish, straight on with some tartar sauce. Hello, that is delicious. Woo! Fish was honestly awesome. Really tender, nice flaky crust, ranch and a pickle, cornbread, and beans. Nothing too fancy, nothing too expensive. Just a really solid plate of American food that will honestly leave you all warm and fuzzy inside like you're sitting at your grandma's house. I don't know what else to say, my friends. It's good stuff. I do hope you're enjoying this series, my friends, and if you are living in any of these states right here that are coming up, please feel encouraged to drop some suggestions down in the comments on what I should cook for them. On another note, this channel now has merch, and I always leave links for the products I use in my videos down in the description. And until next time, my sweet friends, you know I love you and I'm out!